Hey everyone, welcome back to Tan's Top 10 channel. So in my previous video, I said that I'm going to be doing a series of videos throughout the month of October. And the theme of that series is counting down my top 10 favorite movie villains of each decade. So I'm going to be starting out with the 1980s, going up to the 90s, 2000s, and finishing with the 2010s. And yeah, so I'm really excited about this project. It took me a lot of work to think of all the villains throughout the decades, but I think I've got some pretty good lists here that I think you guys are going to like a lot. So I hope you guys are having a good Halloween season so far. Halloween Ends just came out in theaters, a couple days ago. I watched it yesterday on Peacock. I got a lot of strong feelings about that movie. Let's just say I was not a fan. I was not a fan of it at all, and I kind of think that this whole trilogy is kind of a mess, but check it out yourselves. I'm not going to spoil anything here. Check it out on Peacock. Go see it in theaters. And post down below what you guys think of the movie. But overall, didn't work for me. Before we get into the top 10, as always, I do have some honorable mentions. Starting off with the Predator, one of the coolest alien designs of all time in any movie ever. What a total badass. I also got Clarence BODDICKER from RoboCop. I actually just rewatched this not too long ago, and I forgot how big of a piece of shit Clarence BODDICKER is in this movie. He is just a guy that loves to be evil. What a piece of shit. And what he does to RoboCop in that movie, just feel bad for him. A villain that traumatized a lot of kids at a young age, Judge Doom from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I did not see this movie as a kid, so I'm not as creeped out by Judge Doom, but Christopher Lloyd plays a character with a lot of menace, and when he does turn at the end, no spoilers, if you haven't seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, go check it out. But his turn at the end, it is creepy enough, and he is pretty menacing. And my last honorable mention, I really wanted to get this guy in on the list, but it just could not crack the top 10. I got Jack Nicholson's Joker from Batman 1989. What an amazing performance. Like, this is before comic book movies were like the big thing, and it was so weird to have such a standout actor like Jack Nicholson, who already had won like multiple Oscars by this point, being the villain in a comic book movie, and he knocked it out of the park and set a high standard for villains in comic book movies. Coming in at number 10 is a villain that not a lot of people would probably have on their list, but he absolutely makes it onto mine. And that's COCHRAN from Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. This guy is one sick, twisted bastard. His master plan is for all the kids in America to buy these Halloween masks that his business or his company makes, and at like midnight on Halloween night, all the kids must tune in onto this TV station to watch who wins the grand prize. But instead, the station it's supposed to send out a signal to all the masks that have these chips in them, and it pretty much makes the masks disintegrate the kids' faces. And then like bugs and snakes crawl out of the masks. And yeah, that's his master plan, is to pretty much just wipe out every single kid in America. It's pretty fucking wild, but watch the movie and see how his plan turns out, because it's batshit insane, and I just gotta give him props for it. So he probably won't be on a lot of people's list, but for how insane his plan is, he is at my number 10. Coming in at number 9 is easily the most underrated Disney villain of all time, and that is Ratigan from The Great Mouse Detective. First of all, he's voiced by Vincent Price, one of the icons of horror history, and I actually just rewatched this like this past week, just like cooking dinner, and I just popped this on Disney Plus while I was cooking, and I was so blown away again by his performance, and just how like he tries to be so prim and proper. Like he wants to identify as a mouse, even though he is a rat. And don't call him a rat, because he will feed you to his big pet cat. And that's fucked up. Like I like watching this movie again, watching that scene. I was like, holy shit, this is in a kids movie. I can't believe my parents let me watch this as a kid. But then, like I said in the beginning, he's like he just wants to be a gentleman. Like he's trying to be all fancy. And then at the end, when like he's had enough of Basil's shit, and he just starts ripping his clothes off and going full beast mode and turn into full rat, it is terrifying. I love that moment. And yes, easily, without a doubt, the most underrated Disney villain of all time. If you have not seen Great Mouse Detective, check it out. It's very creepy, very weird, but I love it. Coming in at number 8 is a villain a lot of people would probably have a lot higher on their list, but I just couldn't get him up that high. And that's Michael Myers from the Halloween franchise. Um, Out of the big three franchises, or like slashers, Michael, Jason, and Freddy, Michael has always been my least favorite. I kind of find him a little bland. Like all he does is kind of just walk around, and yeah, he's evil personified. But like I don't think his person like he doesn't have person like he doesn't talk or anything. I think the mask is iconic, but I don't know. Like Jason just has a little bit more fun with his kills. Freddy obviously talks and has personality. So that being said, Michael has always been my least favorite of the three, but he's still a total iconic slasher. There wouldn't be Jason and Freddy without Michael, I don't think. Um, and pretty much the 80's is when he was full blown Michael Myers going around slashing people. I mean, he's evil personified for a reason. So Michael Myers, he's got to be on the list without a doubt. In at number 7 is Jason Voorhees. I am a big fan of the Friday the 13th franchise, and Jason is a big part of that. And of course, I'm holding number 2 because he is not the killer in number 1. But I actually really like him in part 2 here with the sack head. I kind of almost like the sack head Jason over the hockey mask. I know that might be controversial, but I really like this. Um, he just has a lot of fun and he gets inventive with his kills. You know, I got to give him props for that. And you know, he's just got some mommy issues. He just wants to be left alone. Don't go swimming into his camp or his lake. You know, stay away from him and he'll leave you alone unless you fucking shoot him to space, in which case you're fucked. But Jason, out of all the slashers, besides Freddy, he's definitely my favorite. I just like how, you know, unique he gets with his kills. In at number 6 is the Terminator. Arnold Schwarzenegger's most famous performance. I absolutely love him in this movie. He is so menacing. Like if you wanted to say that the Terminator is a horror movie, I'm not going to fight you on that. I don't personally identify it as a horror movie, but if you want to say it is like a slasher, I'm not going to fight you on that. He is so terrifying and menacing in this movie. Just with like Arnold being like the performance, it's incredible. It's like an underrated performance, I think. He does an excellent job. And then towards the end, once his skin gets all melted off and then it just turns into the robot, the stop motion, that's terrifying as well. All the practical effects with that, incredible. And he's just an unstoppable killer. I mean, he does get stopped, but you're just like, how the hell are people gonna like? How are the heroes gonna defeat him in the end? And so Arnold Schwarzenegger made an iconic movie villain in the Terminator. Coming in at number 5 is gonna be Jack Torrance from The Shining. This is without a doubt not just one of the best performances in horror movies, but just one of the best performances of all time with Jack Nicholson. I mean, this is actually a second appearance on this list behind the Joker, but like what an iconic performance. He is so batshit insane, especially towards the end. But you just see like this guy just spiral out of control, losing his mind, being stuck in this massive hotel with his wife and son, and he's just seeing all this weird shit like ghosts and people and like blood coming out of elevators and shit. Or wait, that might be Wendy who sees that? I can't remember. But he's just seeing all this weird shit and like a guy in a bear suit giving another dude a blowjob. Like what the fuck is that? Like I'd be losing my mind too. But towards the end, once he just starts going full maniac with the axe and he's just yelling, it is an amazing performance by Jack Nicholson. It is kind of baffling he didn't get nominated for an Oscar for this performance. But of course, you got the whole "Here's Johnny" moment. Like one of the most iconic performances of all time. And one of the most menacing sons of bitches in horror movie history. Coming in at number 4, a lot of people might have this at number 1, but it's Darth Vader. I love Darth Vader. He's one of my favorite Star Wars characters of all time. One of the most iconic movie villains of all time, if not probably the most iconic. I mean, he's super menacing in A New Hope, which came out in the 70s, so can't count him on that movie on this list. But Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi are where you see his like full force and control of the Empire. And then you get like the lightsaber battle between him and Luke in both movies, and you see how strong he is with a lightsaber. Just like the Battle of Hoth, and like how much presence this guy brings into a room. Like once he steps into a room, you get the Imperial March introduced in this movie. You're just like, this guy is the meanest motherfucker in the whole galaxy, and he proves it in both these movies. He does get redeemed at the end of Return of the Jedi, so that might be another reason why he's not like, number one on this list, but he's iconic for a reason. You got to have Darth Vader on the list. Coming in at number 3 is probably the most sympathetic movie villain of all time, possibly, and that is Roy Batty in Blade Runner. So, story behind Roy Batty is that he is a replicant, pretty much an android robot who is pretty much a slave to his masters, and he only has a life expectancy of I believe they're 4 years. So after 4 years, he dies. Like these replicants die. That's how long their life is. And all he wants is to have more life and know why he was created. So he goes and finds his creator. Along the way, he does some bad shit, which kind of makes him the villain of the movie. But in a way, you could kind of twist this movie around and see Rick Deckard, played by Harrison Ford, as the villain of the movie, and that Roy Batty is actually the hero, because all he wants is more life. That's all he wants, and so you kind of sympathize with him in a way. And then at the end, you get, after a final fight between him and Deckard, you get one of the most iconic and beautiful monologues in movie history. It like brings me to tears every single time I watch it. With the tears and the rain. So beautiful. If you've never seen Blade Runner, first of all, go watch it because it's incredible. But just watch that monologue on YouTube. It's so fucking good. An iconic performance. I fucking love Roy Batty. He is one of my favorite movie villains of all time, hands down. And at number 2 is the gold standard when it comes to action movie villains, and that is Hans Gruber in Die Hard and his detonators. Goddamn, what a fucking awesome performance by Alan Rickman. R.I.P. going way too soon. But seriously, like, he set a precedent. Like, he set the bar so high for action movie villains. I don't think we've ever gotten a better one since him. He is so gentlemanly, and he's so like polite. Well, polite in a way, but he's so calm but menacing. And then he's also not afraid to shoot a motherfucker in the face when he needs to. He's calm, but he means goddamn business. He's professional. That's what he is. He's a goddamn professional. And he just has this thorn in his side in John McClane, this cop who is fucking up all of his plans. And just the back and forth that these two have in this movie, it is some of the most entertaining shit you'll ever see in an action movie. And then just like all of his goons start getting picked off, and you just see this guy start to lose his cool. And he's just had enough of John McClane by the end. He's just ready to kill this motherfucker. And unfortunately, he gets tossed off a building. So, he doesn't win. But goddamn, fucking Alan Rickman. What an amazing performance. Iconic in just one movie. In one movie, this is one of the most iconic performances of all time. Goddamn. I want to watch Die Hard right now, but it's not Christmas. But obviously, coming in at number 1, if you guys have seen any of my previous videos, you know it's my man, Freddy Krueger. No movie character has freaked me out more than Freddy Krueger. I mean, this is a serial killer that infiltrates your nightmares, your dreams, and kills you in your dreams. Like, what is more terrifying than not being able to sleep? I fucking love sleep, okay? And so not being able to sleep, that sucks. And then you also get the iconic look with the burned flesh. It looks so fucking gross. You get the hat, you get the Christmas sweater, the razor gloves. Probably my favorite slasher weapon, the gloves. It's so creepy. It just feels like, I don't like it. But he's also got a big personality. Like before he'll kill you, he usually cracks a joke. And they're not great jokes, but you got to give him effort for trying. So I always give props to him for doing that. But just what a creepy ass son of a bitch. I fucking love Freddy Krueger. I really, really wish that we got a remake, not the 2010 one, but a modern retelling of Nightmare on Elm Street. There's so much potential for this character, and I feel like they're like they haven't even broken through the first layer of like fucking. Oh, I just want more movies of this franchise. And of course, you got to give props to Robert Englund, who portrays Freddy in all these movies. He is so damn good, especially under all that makeup. You see a lot of his expressions, and the acting is amazing. And towards like the further movies, the further along in the franchise, he does get more Looney Toony and jokey, which I'm not a big fan of. Like I love him in the first one. I actually think he might be the scariest in the entire franchise in number 2. Like that might be Freddy at his scariest. And then pretty much I think from like 4 on, he starts to get a little too funny for my taste, but he's still, without a doubt, probably my favorite movie villain of all time. Not just horror, any movie villain. I fucking love Freddy Krueger, and that is why he is number 1 in today's list. Well, everyone, there you go. Those are my top 10 movie villains of the 80s. So like I said, next video is going to be 90s, 2000s, 2010. I'm so excited to get these videos out to you guys and share these lists with you. Please share down below in the comment section what your top 10 80s villains would be. Let me know what you thought of the list as well. If I missed any, I'm pretty sure I didn't miss any, but I mean, there's so many goddamn iconic villains in this list that it's incredible. But yeah, like I said, please comment below your thoughts. Also, please like and share the video if you have not, and subscribe to the channel as well. And yeah, we'll see you guys very soon with top 10 90s villains. So until then, guys, take care.